The evolution of human hair, an ancient story on our heads. Consider the sheer variety of human hair. You will find strands that drape in sleek, straight lines, others that cascade in gentle waves, some that loop into tight curls, and others that grow in dense, spring-like coils. On the surface, this might seem like a mere aesthetic detail. However, hair serves a much deeper purpose than decoration. It blankets the most vital organ in our bodies, the brain. This raises an intriguing question. How did humanity develop such a diverse range of hair textures? Was it a product of random chance, climate adaptation, or defense against the sun? Or does our hair hold clues to an ancient evolutionary journey? Before we explore why hair varies so much, we have to consider a more fundamental puzzle. Why did we retain thick hair on our heads in the first place? Human biology is quite distinct compared to other primates. Our bodies lack the thick, protective fur that covers most mammals, making us look relatively bare. Instead of fur, we rely on a highly efficient sweating system to regulate our temperature. As our ancestors walked and ran across sun-drenched landscapes, shedding body hair allowed sweat to evaporate more freely, carrying excess heat away from the skin. While sparse body hair optimized this cooling mechanism, the head required a different approach. The tissue underneath, the brain, demands an immense amount of energy. It generates significant metabolic heat and is highly vulnerable to thermal damage. As our ancestors adapted to active lives in hot, open environments, the head needed direct protection from the sun's intense rays. This suggests that head hair originally functioned as a natural shield, shading the scalp, reducing direct solar heat, and protecting the skin underneath. But if head hair is so crucial, why did it evolve into so many different forms? Why isn't there just one universal hair type? The answer lies in how different structures interact with the environment. Hair isn't just a static covering. It actively shapes how sunlight, air, and heat interact with our skin. Recent scientific studies using thermal models of human heads have shed light on this mystery. Researchers discovered that tightly coiled hair is exceptionally efficient at minimizing heat absorption from the sun. Because of its physical shape, coily hair lifts away from the scalp, creating an insulating pocket of air. This layer blocks direct sunlight, while still allowing the scalp to release heat, avoiding the heavy blanket effect of flat-lying hair. In hot, sun-drenched environments, this structure would have been highly advantageous, protecting the brain while reducing the body's reliance on sweating to stay cool. However, evolution is rarely straightforward, and hair texture cannot be mapped directly to specific climates. We cannot look at a person's hair and perfectly reconstruct their ancestral environment. Human history is defined by migration, intermixing, and genetic drift. While some traits spread because they offered a survival advantage, others became common through sheer coincidence, geographic isolation, or sexual selection. For example, thick, straight hair is highly prevalent in East Asian and Native American populations, linked to specific genetic variants. Yet, this trait isn't the result of a single environmental pressure. It likely arose from a combination of cold climates, ancestral migrations, and genetic drift. Wavy and curly hair also span across diverse global populations, demonstrating that human variation exists on a broad, continuous spectrum, rather than a rigid ladder. To understand how these shapes form, we have to look beneath the surface of the skin. Every strand of hair originates in a follicle, a complex, living structure. The physical shape of this follicle, the angle at which it sits, and how its cells divide determine the final texture of the hair. When a follicle is symmetrical and round, the hair grows straight. If the follicle is asymmetrical or oval-shaped, the growing strand bends and curves, resulting in waves, curls, or coils. It functions similarly to a ribbon. If you pull it evenly, it stays straight, but any uneven tension on one side causes it to curl. This biological process is governed by a complex network of genes, rather than a single genetic switch. Multiple genes interact to influence follicle shape, strand thickness, and growth patterns. This genetic complexity explains why siblings can have entirely different hair types, why a child's hair texture can shift during puberty, and why hormones or aging can alter our hair over time. Human hair does not fit neatly into rigid categories. The terms straight, wavy, curly, and coily are simply convenient labels for a continuous biological spectrum. In fact, a single person can have multiple hair patterns on different parts of their head, and the appearance of those patterns can change based on humidity, hair health, and care routines. Ultimately, the diversity of human hair is the result of thousands of years of genetics, climate adaptation, and ancestral journeys working in tandem. Beyond its biological roots, hair holds profound cultural significance. Throughout history, humans have cut, styled, braided, and adorned their hair to communicate identity, social status, spiritual beliefs, and personal history. What began as an evolutionary adaptation for temperature control has transformed into a powerful medium of self-expression and cultural memory. When we look at our hair, we are looking at a living record of human survival, migration, and creativity. Each unique texture is a beautiful chapter in the shared story of how our ancestors navigated the world.